It was tough, it was niggly, it was frustrating to watch, but we've won again 2-1, our third game in a row winning 2-1. Our 13th win in a row, which is now equal to Premier League record set by Arsenal a long time ago, I think it was 2001, and that's 20 victories in a row, and boy, we made hard work of it, didn't we? That was a battle. That was West Ham parking 2 buses in front of their goal. Actually, I don't want to do them the disservice, they were good in the first half, they created a few chances, we were just slack, and as soon as we changed our minds in the second half, we made inroads into their defensive line, but it was hard work, and it's tiring to watch at the moment. I'm not necessarily going to have a go at the players, but it is tiring to watch. But the most important thing, that 8-point lead still exists going into the derby next weekend, and obviously now we get to rest some players against Shakhtar Donetsk, and that's absolutely huge. Next week could be the kind of game where we almost put a placeholder, one hand on the trophy of the Premier League if we beat United. So we needed to get through this somehow. We needed to give United no hope. And they'll probably take some hope from the performance in general. I think it's fair to say our performance has dropped off, but we still kept that gap between them and us. And that's absolutely crucial going into what is an absolutely huge game next week at Old Trafford. A lot of people were saying at half-time complacency setting in. I don't think it's complacency. Complacency usually implies there's an ego there, that players are getting cocky and confident. I don't think it's that. I just think there's some kind of mental tiredness there. I think in general breaking down these teams who are sitting deeper than at the start of the season is getting harder and harder, and eventually doing the same thing, repetition starts to kick in. It gets a little bit harder to do. He gets mentally fatigued before the game even kicks off, and I think there's clear signs of that at the moment. The players look a little leggy as well. Half the energy, that drive is missing a little bit, and it's taking Guardiola to change things around at half time or inject a bit of fire and then to get them going. And I'm not really going to have a go with the players. I don't think there's a lack of desire, it's just tough sometimes. It's like the grind can be very mentally tiring, and he's seeing the players looking for inspiration elsewhere, maybe being a bit apprehensive about the challenge that they've got to face before it's even kicked off. I'm sure we'll come out of this spell, and what we're saying will happen, but at the moment it feels like we have to simply grind out results in whatever way we can. By hook or crook, we have to get past teams, and that's what we're doing, and it's a sign of champions, that whole cliche that you have to just beat teams when you're not playing well, and we're doing it. It wasn't quite as dramatic as against Huddersfield or Southampton, but we still basically waited until the 83rd minute to get that winner. I know it was coming in general, it's getting very hard to watch, and it must be hard for the players to play in too. I've got a theory in general that after watching that, when we went in the second half with 2 at top, maybe we need to start making some tactical changes overall at the moment, because I think teams are knowing what to expect against City these days. They know how we're going to line up with 2 either side of the striker, De Bruyne, Silva is the false 8, Fernandinho or someone like that holding, fullbacks bombing forward. Maybe we need to keep it fresh for the players, something else for them to think about, something else for the opposition to think about. In the second half as well, we were taking more pot shots from distance, which I think is something that's definitely a positive thing. When you've got 2 banks of players sat so deep and are willing to let you have all that space 25 yards from goal, then maybe you need to pull the trigger a little bit more, because that leads to them charging out, trying to block shots, which creates space in between the lines, it creates space in front of the defence, and we need to basically find a way to draw them out. And we started doing that. Obviously we brought 2 players up front as well in the second half. They obviously have to mark 2 strikers then instead of 1. We overloaded the box and we created more chances. They sat a lot deeper, then they were pulling out when we were having shots. Basically, it caused a little bit more mayhem, and the players looked a little bit fresher. It gave West Ham something to think about. In general, it was a positive thing. At the end of the day, though, we've won again, and that's 8 points clear. That's 20 wins in a row. That's a phenomenal number. For what it's worth, I think we'll lose against Shakhtar. I think this run is going to come to a considered end, an end that we'd probably accept, because I don't think we'll play anywhere near our full strength team. I think a lot of players will just stay in England, and I think we'll see mass changes, and Shakhtar have got to win the game. I don't think we'll win this game. I think we'll lose it, maybe even draw at best, but I think that's going to be the game what happens. So be it. I couldn't give a flying fuck. A record is just a number on a sheet, as long as we keep going in the Premier League and doing the competitions that actually matter at the moment. Going into the United game, I'm hoping with a rest we should feel confident, because it's obviously not going to be easy, but I think we'll control the game. I think they'll be up for it, I think they'll be sharp, and hopefully we'll get them 3 points there. Back onto this game though, individually, I think De Bruyne was the standout in the second half for me. He looked composed, he looked authoritarian, he took control of the game. Him and Silva obviously started to exert their influence, and that was a beautiful assist for David Silva's second goal. David Silva's first goal, our second goal, and it was a touch of class in a game that was probably lacking it at most times. I don't think Sterling or Sané had a particularly great game. Sterling in particular particular fluffed a pretty decent chance. Slightly grew in confidence with 25 minutes left when space started opening up a little bit. Before that, he was pretty poor. Aguero had a shocker. I love Kun, but in general, nothing happened for him. Every single touch, every pass was either misplaced or miscontrolled. It wasn't his day at all. Gabriel Jesus, when he came on, made an absolutely huge difference. I don't think either striker's been in great form at the moment, but he came on with a bit between his teeth. He gave them something to think about. His touch was good. He was sharp. He had a couple of snapshots. In general, he caused them problems, and I think he's obviously probably played his well in contention for the game next week at Old Trafford. I think we saw signs as well. I'm not going to try and point too many fingers at Mangala. He isn't the player that we need as a defensive replacement for Vinny. That pace he's meant to have. He got outpaced by Arnautovic and Antonio a couple of times. If that's his only redeeming trait is his physicality and his pace, and he hasn't got that, it's a bit worrying, isn't it? I think we all know he's obviously not part of the future, so I don't want to harp on too much about something that we all know about. I don't want to be a stuck record, basically. He's not good enough. We know that. Defensively, Danilo, he had a very quiet first half at left back before they put Delp back into his preferred position, Pep's preferred Delp position, I would say, and he was okay there. Ederson made a couple of good saves. Probably could have done maybe a little bit more with the header. Some might disagree there. I don't know. I think maybe we've been watching Day of some wonder saves. I'm not going to slate off Ederson, but you think maybe he could have got there? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh there because we were obviously disappointed by going behind. Ederson, some cool moments, some lovely touches. Walker bomb down the right. Didn't have it. The overall threatening game. A couple of nice crosses, but maybe people could have gotten the end of it if they tried a little bit harder. But all that matters, once again, and I'm repeating myself, is that we got the 3 points. Let me know what you think in the comments, please. I think it's just the kind of games these days that we have to just grind out. We have to go through this bad spell and hopefully keep winning, because there's going to be a team at some point, if we keep playing like this, they will get points from us. We can't come from behind every single time. We will drop points at some point if we keep playing this way. But hopefully we can just ride this storm out, ride this mental fatigue out, get a good result against United, and maybe that will loosen up some of our inhibitions, so to speak. Anyway, get in the comments below. Let me know your man of the match. Give this video a thumbs up for 8 points clear, and I will see you next time.